Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my late review for Married at First Sight Season 11, the finale reunion, or whatever, okay? First things first, if you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and become a whole JayBird. JayBird. Dun 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 dun. And all that goodness and stuff. Okay. Do not forget to breathe it on out. Okay. To relax, to relate, to release, to inhale and exhale. Okay. To center yourself and anyone around you and all that goodness. You can also like this video, comment in the comment section. You can share it on your social media. You can follow me on IG and Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. Boom, boom, pow, bam. It's all done. Okay. So the reunion was being done via video. Okay. We have, the couples are in like the studio. Kevin Frage, the host, is in a different location. It's about 6 months later from when they met. So the couples have now they've been knowing each other for 6 months and everything. Okay. So it was real cool. And I liked how the footage was amazing because versus them doing like a little Zoom, where this is kind of grainy or whatever, they have the studio footage. So I liked all that and whatnot. Okay, so first couple up, we had Amelia and Bennett. Okay, I'm like, oh, look at Amelia and Bennett looking all cute. Bennett is cute. Okay, I feel like, I don't know, something, maybe because his hair pushed back and Bennett looks like he's had a bath. And I mean that in the best non-judgmental, non-shady way. But he looks like he could be like Rico Suave right here or whatever. But they have moved to Virginia for her job. Okay, they're still married and happy, whatever. They're both busy working a whole bunch here and there. They say how it's new for them both because he's also working now too. He's a solar consultant. Okay, so he's helping people switch to solar power in their homes. And he said they're both very content with their jobs, even though they don't get to spend as much time together as they I guess would like to. They basically only sleep together because of her work schedule and his work schedule. They're only home at the same time when it's time to go to sleep. And so that's the time they spend together, the most or whatnot, which isn't bad. It's not good, but it isn't bad. I do feel like, you want to get some good old time in. But the fact that they both say they feel fulfilled with each other, to me means they're doing just fine or whatever. Now, they have a little small place, okay? Because they say, like, this place is just all ours or whatever. And you can see the most of it in this thing. And I'm like, but that's like a couch and that's it. So that's all. Y'all live on a couch. Grandma leave that be. It's probably a sofa sleeper, which I got in my spare room. Anyway, they perform a little song that they wrote for Kevin, because Kevin Frage, the host, we know that he be reviewing movies and stuff, and they did a song which was weird, funny, but amazing about asking him if he could suggest a good movie. And I'm like, okay. But anyway, for the most part, they are doing good, okay? They're getting along still, the move, I think, was the biggest thing for them. So the fact that he's happy there is a good thing for me. And I think that he's happy he took the little leap with her. Because, again, it's been only 6 months. So he moved. I mean, that's kind of quick, but I mean, that's his wife. Okay, we then have Christina and Henry. Now, as we know, thank God, they decided to divorce on decision day, and they did not get back together, and I'm happy about that. Now, she brings up how she never really had any kind of like craving feeling of intimacy from Henry. She's like, it just wasn't a good match. Okay, they both admit it was very awkward between them most of the time or whatever. And he say how he had concerns about them as a couple from the start. I say from the start all the way. Really? Okay. He admits how, we were good on paper, so he gets why they were matched, but in person, not so much. Okay. He also brings up how he found out that she was in a 5-year relationship that ended just 8 months before they got married. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I really questioned if she was really ready to be married. He said he feel like people, who have been in a relationship like she was, they need that alone time to kind of get to know themselves or whatever. He's like, I just felt like, me wasn't right. But since filming has ended, she has been in Mexico. She's I've been in Mexico avoiding the negative things being said about me because there were things that was being said about me and about him. So I've been in Mexico avoiding. I'm like, oh, okay. She also brings about I started seeing someone. Okay. And you know what I'm saying? He likes to travel. It's casual, but it's fun. And I'm like, they've only been broken up for like 2 months. But I mean, I guess 2 months isn't a long time to start dating somebody new when Henry was new, anyway, too. So Henry brings up how he does not have a girlfriend, despite the rumors that he does. Okay. Now, Henry was much more expressive, okay, in this thing. And it was definitely completely different than it was on the show. And I feel like when he was not talking to Christina, and if it wasn't around her, because I remember him talking to the other guys, him talking to his friends, even him talking to Amani, he was able to express himself. So I feel like he felt like he was stuck in a marriage and he didn't want to hurt her feelings. So that may have been why he was always looking for words to use to not hurt her feelings and not be honest with her. So I see that because I'm like, he is saying what he knows. Okay. And he even brought up how women have been reaching out to date him since he has been on the show, and he may take them up on the offer. Now, he wasn't a completely different person. He still had troubles with eye contact or whatever, but he was less tongue-tied. He wasn't really looking for words to use, and I feel like he really, again, just didn't want to hurt her feelings. So that's why a lot he was holding stuff back or whatever. But what's funny is, even though they were really, awkward on the show, he's being very honest and forthcoming here. I think it's weird that they had more chemistry here, on the set of this reunion than they had all season. It's like they could almost be friendly in life, okay, but they can't be together in life, not at all or whatnot. But I mean, I'm like, he's really just talking. He's using all his words, okay? He's being honest and shit and whatnot. I'm like, but again, he couldn't tell his true feelings because he didn't want to hurt that girlfriend until she pissed him off or whatnot, okay? Anyway, next up we have our favorite couple, okay? Looking sugar sharp out here, okay? Woody and Amani. You can't tell me this chocolate perfection couple sitting here. They need their own show, okay? When they have the whole, Married at First Sight, the couples after the show or whatnot, they need to be a couple on there, okay? I want to see it, okay? Anyway, of course, Woody and Amani are still married, okay? And I'm like, yay! Now, she brought up how she will be taking his last name. Now, she also surprises him a little bit because he did not know that she'd already tried to get her last name changed to Randall, but she couldn't because of the whole pandemic thing. The Social Security office closed, so she could not get her name changed. He was like, what? Really? So he was happy to know that she was going to do that, because again, he was calling her Miss Randall from the day they got married or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? She's going to fully take his last. I'm like, that is, girl, a whole love story. Okay, anyway. So, at this point, they said that they are still having honeymoon vibes. 6 months later, okay, it's still honeymoon vibes or whatnot. Now, Kevin, who's hosting the show again, asked, how quickly they were taking showers together on their honeymoon. And I appreciate Amani and how she explained it. It's I knew that we were married, okay, but I wasn't ready to have sex with him just yet. But I knew we needed to have, some physical, we needed a physical connection. So to get more comfortable, since we both like showers, like it just makes sense for us, take showers together. And I was like, that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? And, okay, you know what I'm saying? We have to be, because you have to get comfortable around the other person to get comfortable around the other person. So why not do something natural to take a shower? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta touch my cooch. I ain't gonna touch your penis. We could just take a shower or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They then talk about their families. And Woody pointed out how, having her two dads who he talks to on a regular basis, was really, really good because he does not have a close bond with his own daddy and whatnot, and how quickly their families actually blended. It was an amazing thing. And she brings up how, her family really loves him and he also loves her family. So it's a great thing how they both got their wish with the person they were matched with, being able to mesh well with the family. And when Kevin asked them, like, well, what do you see y'all at in 5 to 10 years? And Woody's like, well, I do see this with kids, within 5 to 10 years or whatever. I don't know, like, where we'll be living at the time or whatnot, but, I do see us having a happy life. And, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And then Kat's like, well, Woody, got a secret that he'd been beating to tell. I'm like, what secret? What secret, Woody? Okay. Woody gets down on one knee. I'm like, Woody, what is you doing, Woody? He gets down on one knee. He like, I just never imagined, I would get a life partner like, like the one I got from the show. Like, I never imagined it could be this good. You know what I'm saying? And he was crying. Oh, so sweet. He like, I really love you. Like, I really love you. You know what I'm saying? I can't see you outside of my life ever. You know what I'm saying? He like, and I wanted to, I know the show, got your ring, but I wanted to give you a ring from me. And he gave her this ring, y'all. He gave her a whole little diamond ring. And so I want to give you a ring, you know what I'm saying, that was from me for my own reasons because I love it. I'm looking like, because he loves her. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It was so sweet, okay? And not only sweet, I think it's something when people realize we were put on this show to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. They gave us this, they gave us that. But let me give you a ring that symbols my love for you because I love you, girl. And I loved it. She's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And she was, of course, happy that he did it and whatnot. It was so cute. I was like, oh my God, it's so cute. Anyway, next up, we had girl. Freaking frack. Thing 1 and thing 2. The cat and the goddamn hat. Okay, we had Brett and Olivia or whatever. Now, Brett was at his house. Olivia was in studio. And Brett said he did not go there because there were COVID mandate rules for his job that he had to follow, so he could not go. I don't know if that was bullshit or not, but I do know some jobs do have rules or whatever. Like at my job, it's not that I can't travel, but if I travel, I then have to, quarantine for 2 weeks. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. Okay, anyway, but I still feel like he still showed up. I also feel like he didn't want to have to be there because if he wanted to leave, he was already there. So I think he felt like if I'm not there and I don't want to participate, I can just cut the camera off or whatever. Anyway, they have not rekindled their marriage or their relationship, whatever. They are over, okay? Over, okay? Anyway, so we see their past or whatever, how they had these good moments. Like, not everything was bad, but we also see how, like, it just did not work. And I said before, they were a bad match. And you can't really be upset when somebody else sets you up and y'all don't match up. You can't force it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like if they both had accepted at some point they were forcing it, it could have been better. They could have at least been friendly, but I think they both, girl, it was messy. Now, Olivia said that she learned about herself what she will and won't put up with. That she is looking forward to being with someone who doesn't want kids, and that she wants someone to experience life with her and someone who will be into her for her. Okay. And she meant that like instant because I don't believe that Brett was into me for me. And I said, well, he didn't pick you. You can't be upset that someone who didn't pick you for you didn't like you for you. Okay, he didn't pick you. He didn't even tell them someone like you. They put y'all together. Okay, so you can't come on the blind marriage show and then be upset that your husband, didn't pick you for you. He didn't pick you at all. Okay, and even though you wanted to, you had the best intention, it just didn't work out. Okay, now Brett say he didn't have any expectations besides someone to compromise and make a marriage work. Brett, in his own way, consistently words things to blame her. And in my opinion, that doesn't make him wrong. It just doesn't make him right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Brett, you're coming off like an asshole. But I also agree that, in his experience, like, she wasn't trying to compromise in his mindset or whatnot. So she brings up how it's been months and I still have no idea even who he is. Like, he was a very service level person. And he said, well, I can agree that's true. It was very service level, but I also feel like neither one of us pushed the marriage forward. It got to a point where the marriage just died. And I think that point came in where they both kept trying to get the other one to conform to the other one. And then it just kind of stopped in general. And it was a weird ass draw. And no one tried anything. And then she went to visit her family, and then he said, fuck it, I'm leaving too. They both just kind of said, I'm out in their own way. I'm going to leave that be and whatnot. Now, he then said, like, it was a lack of chemistry and a lack of compatibility. And I was like, I agree with that. Brett is a jerk. He's an asshole. I think he's a bit of a gaslighter. But him saying we had a lack of chemistry and compatibility, that's true. That's true. And because they still stuck around to see it through, he came off as more of an asshole. Even though she also came off as cold. Like, because y'all didn't have no chemistry. That's what it was. You can't force shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Olivia is holding on to the fact that it could have been better. If he would have did this, it could have been better. I'm like, if he would have showed me who he was, it could have been better. No, she holding on just to hold on because she does not want to feel like she was the one he didn't want. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she can let it go that he didn't want her because she also didn't want him. But I feel like she's holding on to it as if I just say, okay, he didn't want me, then I'm a failure. You're not a failure, Olivia. It just didn't work out or whatever. Now, they both say how in the beginning they were attracted to one another, okay? They both liked each other in the beginning, okay? But as time went on, neither of them kept that attraction for one another. And they both, for one reason or other, did not, like the other one at all. She said he would get in his asshole ways, and I didn't like him. And then he said, I felt like she had a criteria of what she wanted, and he didn't fit into what she wanted. So then she just kind of shut down. And how she wanted someone to fit into her life and into her routine, but not really someone to connect with. And the reason I can see both of their points, he was an asshole. And who wants to be with an asshole? But she also wanted someone who wanted to do the thing that she was always doing. I'm always going with my friends every day. I need you to do that. I like to travel. So she had a life. And she wanted someone to do the thing that she was already doing. And that isn't a bad thing. It's just a fact of what she wanted. He wasn't that person. Okay, I'm going to leave that be and whatnot. But for me, it was weird that she was insulted that he no longer was attracted to her, even though she wasn't attracted to him. I'm looking like, but you don't like him either, so why are you, like, I was confused. Like, I would never be upset that someone I also didn't like me. Okay, that's an easy thing to fix. We don't like each other, girl. Anyway, Kevin asked, like, if he's been dating. He said, well, yeah, since we broke up, I've been on some dates. She was like, he's been on all the dating apps. All my friends have met with him or whatever. They've sent me screenshots. I've seen conversations he's had with some of the women on these dating apps because they send them to me. I've seen pictures of him on dates. I'm like, are you stalking? I would be pissed if my friends did that to me. don't send me conversations he's having. Olivia is obsessed with Brett. And it's a shame because Brett is an asshole. Like you have no reason to be caring about what he doing when y'all are divorced. You've known this man 6 months. You ain't fucked that man. You barely, girl. I could not hold on to anyone that was that little in my life. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. When she said, one conversation he had with a girl, he was asking her to tell him something positive going on because he was feeling down about the world. I'm like, the fact that she came on national television as if that wasn't a private conversation between him and someone else or whatever, and acted as if him saying he's having a hard time was him lying. I'm looking like a lot of people were having a hard time because a lot of people weren't able to do life like it's a fucking pandemic. I was upset that she did that. Mainly because that could have been a vulnerable moment for him. It could have also been bullshit. I don't know. But I feel like I don't like when anyone takes a message I sent to somebody else. You send it to someone else and they then go on national television and say, well, he said he was having a hard time. He needed someone to give him some good news. I'm like, who repeats that? I felt like, in my opinion, as assholey as he is, I did not like that. Because how would she like it if he had her text from some private dating app of him talking to somebody else and then he said what she said, she needs some dick. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should not invade people's privacy. But that's what dating at. That's what happened. It made me feel bad for him. Because he really could have been struggling in this pandemic. And she made it seem as if, because he's out here dating, then, how could he have possibly been ready for marriage? Girl, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, and he's on dating apps, whatever. He's out here, spending money on dates, but told me that I was, should not be spending money. I'm like, why do you care? Girl, it just didn't sit well with me at all. And she brings about, I feel like he just wanted to be on TV. And he may have. But I also feel like we can't sit up here and harp on shit when things don't work out. He isn't like the basketball player who was, from overseas, who was actively dating people while he was on the show. We can't act like he's the guy who was secretly behind the scenes, like having sex with that girl, but acting as if who was a guy? It was a guy who they thought was gay, and he had a red beard. He isn't the worst of the worst. He isn't. He really, really isn't. And again, I feel like had either of them been matched with a better person, they would have been likable. They would have been matched with the wrong goddamn person, okay? Girl, I was like, but I do feel like she is obsessed with him. Because I would not be up here remembering and reading texts. Girl, I ain't got time for that shit. Anyway, next up we have Karen and Miles. Girl, y'all know he was mad at Karen for a long time and whatnot. Now they decided on the decision day to stay married, okay? And Kevin asked, Karen, do you regret how reserved you were, on camera, how you kind of came off some kind of way? And she's like, well, no, I'm a reserved person, so I'm saying, I don't feel like I was being too guarded because I have to get comfortable with people or whatnot, I'm saying? So but I do acknowledge that I thought coming on the show would have been easier than what it was or whatever. And Miles say for him, there are points where he felt like, you know what, I'm going to say no on decision day. Because again, based on the time they spent together, I didn't see the point of going forward. He said, but, I said, let's try it out because, we had gotten better. Okay, so I was like, let's just try to figure it out or whatever and see where we can go in this. And Karen says for once, she realized, she said, once Miles started being honest about how he felt, that made her feel more comfortable with him. Because again, he wasn't telling her any of his frustrations for a while. So for her, he just seemed so nice. Like, oh, everything's perfect. And it wasn't. And now we do find out that they are still married or whatever, and they live together. They got new lease together. He said my needs are being met, okay, all up and through, and they have had sex now. She brings up how she understood how he was just frustrated with her, but it felt good when he told her the truth about how he was, unhappy. And she said, him being honest with her is what made her realize, okay, this can work. Because if he can't be honest with me about how he feel, how can I, be with him forever and whatnot. And then they want to wait on kids, okay? They want to enjoy time together first and whatever. I think that's a good thing. I still don't wholeheartedly trust Karen with Miles, but Miles say again that she stood up for them and that she shows up for them every day and that they are in a good place now. And I'm like, that's all that matters. He said how, he learned how strong Karen is because she went through all of this or whatever, and how she now shows up for them every day. And Karen brings up how she has learned how resilient he is and how he's very competitive, but in such a positive way that she likes it and whatnot. So again, they still married, I just hope that they work, because I do think Miles is a really good guy. And I think even though she said that she just needed time to kind of, feel comfortable with him, and she was waiting for him to be honest about things because that made her feel more comfortable, I felt like, but you still put that man through a lot of shit now like that or whatnot. So we then see all the couples come together. Okay. Now Brett decided not to be a part of the group segment. But no one is surprised. I'm not surprised either. Because it's, but I really feel like maybe because Olivia brought up how she got all this information about him on dating apps, he may not have wanted her to expose anything else or whatever. So I think that could have been a reason he did not want to keep going, because she brought up how she had this information about his private dating life or whatnot. Henry brings up how for him, he knew from the bachelor party that Brett was on some bullshit or whatever, because of Brett flirting with his friend that day. You know what I'm saying? And then they bring up how Christina had pulled Olivia to the side, like, I tried to tell you, like, to be careful. And she's like, I just felt like I should tell her from what I felt from him. And Olivia admits that one, that caught her off guard, and that she didn't really fully accept the advice, because like I felt like I had not been around him that long, and so how could she see something in him that I didn't see? And I'm like, well, now we know how. She said, but then when she saw the party on TV, she understood more about it. And I'm like, the funny part is, Christina didn't know the bachelor party stuff. She got that feeling from being around him. I'm like, because I feel like Olivia just wanted someone to love her. And I think in the beginning she had blinders on, because she just wanted him to love her. And she just did not realize he ain't the one, sis. He ain't the one or whatever. Now we do see each couple's house who stay together, okay? We seen, Brett and, not Brett. We seen Amelia and Bennett, Karen and Miles, and then Amani and Woody. Now, Amelia and Brett's house, it's a little room, a little cozy studio apartment. It had like 2 rooms, like a living room area and a kitchen area, whatever. Now the living room was a living room and a bedroom and a closet. It's really cozy. It's really cozy. But I think the amount of time that they're gone from their house, it makes sense for them not to have this huge space. I would definitely need more closet space, but that's just me. And then we seen Karen and Miles's place first. Nice little house, and they then walked, down the street. They walking outside, walk, like 5-6 houses down the street, and we see that Amani and Woody live down the street. Yeah, they are neighbors basically, and so they see each other like every other day, and that's cool. That's really, really cute. You know what I'm saying? We then get into the whole Christina saying that she had a text that Henry was having some kind of gay affair. Now, we never saw the text, okay? They never put the text up on the screen or whatever. Now, at the time, she brings up how, well, I didn't know who sent it. I'm saying at that time, I was at odds with production, so I thought they could have sent it to me or whatever. I'm saying, but I did not think that he was gay. Henry was like, I call her bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, at the time, she was upset that I called her dishonest. Okay. And so she then told me that it would be in my best interest to have her back on the show and to the show ended. He's like, what does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? He said, from this point forward, I'm going to be honest about things. I'm saying, because I've been so quiet, trying not to hurt feelings. So I can't do that no more. I'm going to just be honest. And she then held her phone up, saying that I have evidence in my phone. You know what I'm saying? So, I have this text, blah, 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 blah. That some man texted me and said that you and him had a whole sexual relationship or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole time he's talking about it, like, she's sitting there and not denying nothing. Like, even when someone is saying something about you that isn't true, you even have you at least shake your head no, because what he's saying, like, she just sat there like, and that was it. Okay. Now, he he said how you did this wasn't cool or whatnot. So Kevin points out, like, well, that first time, she said it was from a reliable source. She then changed her story and said, like, the text came from a anonymous number or whatever. She just said, well, it was from a New Orleans number. So I just assumed they knew so much about him. So I just assumed it was, and I'm like, what? Okay. But she's like, and then I realized I was wrong because I was kind of gaslighting him, saying, by bringing it up, even though I didn't believe it. He's like, no. You told other people, you know what I'm saying, that you thought I was gay. So it's a lie to say that you did not believe it, because you told other people that I was gay. You know what I'm saying? You were struggling with the fact that I was not attracted to you or whatever, so you threw mud at the wall to see what was stick. I said, threw mud at the wall to see what was stick. I was like, let her know, okay? And she then admits, but yeah, I did, hold the text against his head or whatever. But I just, because, and I'm like, girl, she was just like, I think she realized she was busted. So like, let me just admit what I did. Let me just admit it all or whatever. Leave that. Now everyone's thinking like, Henry just being so, talking, like he was just expressing everything. Okay, he then said on their wedding day, people, I guess, Googled her or whatever, or figured out what things out about her. And they told him about the relationship she was in for 5 years before him. He said, I was told that she was dating someone for 5 years who was married. She was dating a whole married man for 5 years, and he was told that they would do toxic things to each other. So he was not surprised that she accused him of being gay once she was upset with him. And the whole time, not the whole time, but then she said, I'm just ready for this to be over. And for me to get over this and get out of this, because I'm just ready for it to be over. And I'm like, you not gonna deny fucking somebody's husband? The fact that she did not say it wasn't true, just that she's ready for it to be over and to get out of this. I'm like, and I get why he was so pissed, and I've apologized. I don't know what else to do. I'm like, girl. Henry said, I acknowledge your apology, okay, but it may take me some time to get over, okay, because it was a crap thing to do. I'm like, okay, anyway. And that was really it. They get some little random thing, like, who became friends. Would he say him and Henry are really good friends, okay, and how Henry really is not that quiet off camera, and how Henry's a really great guy or whatnot. They asked about if Miles got a lot of attention from women, and yes, he has, okay. And he said, they offered to do whatever they want to do because Karen won't do it, but I'm happy with my wife. I'm like, okay, if you say so. And that's really it. You know what I'm saying? It was a good little reunion, okay. But I was like, she was fucking like his husband, and they got married and got divorced. Girl, karma. Anyway, I'm done. Peace.